Welcome to the channel, everybody. So today we are pushing forward in our pursuit of the Thronebreaker title. This is a huge milestone right here. This is Act 6.3.6, meaning as soon as we're done with this one, we are 3/4 of the way through our needed pass to get our Thronebreaker title. So this is a great one to actually be looking at as a huge milestone. Great spot to get to. You get some amazing rewards at the end of this. So let's get right into it. So I thought right off the bat here, knowing that crits were going to be really important and high damage deal is going to be important as well, that I would go with similar to the team that I ended up running most of the time before I really switched over to my 6 stars. As you know, my 6 stars became more and more leveled up and able to be functional. The only difference here from what I would have been running at the point in time that Thronebreaker came out is that there may be a few more sig levels into each of these guys, but also on top of that, I would have been running the 6-star Heimdall because I got him early and got him powered up. So my 6-star is actually quite a bit more powerful than my 5-star because I never even bothered to level up my 5-star really. So he doesn't play as much of a factor here outside of the synergy usages. So he's really kind of a wasted spot outside of that. But obviously the synergy is so powerful that it does still allow me the ability to run just the other 4 champions. There may have been a little bit better of an idea here to more so focus on Aegon and Corvus without the rest of the team. Mind you, probably still keeping in Star-Lord. And then instead of doing Loki and Heimdall, instead looked at a synergy that would have improved on crit chances. Okay. We'll talk about why that's going to be so important as we get into the path here. So let's go ahead and get in there. Look at what the path nodes are on the path that I chose, which I think is one of the easier paths to do. Just a few minor things to avoid on it, and you can pretty well walk through this one. So the path that we chose here, none of the champions have anything outside of the path nodes themselves, which are Aggressive Fury, which grants the defender the ability to gain a Fury charge every 2 seconds, which increases their attack by 50% per count on the stack. So you want to make sure that you are getting those off of there because they are getting more powerful every 2 seconds. The way to get them off of there is just by landing attacks. So anybody that can consistently get in there, get your combos in, things like that, you're pretty good on keeping those off of there. The other 2 nodes are Counter-Strike. This, every time you dex back, is actually going to cause them to gain another Fury charge, which is a passive one, which only adds an additional 5%. Once those hit 10, those actually come off and they become unblockable for 15 seconds. So it's a mixed bag. Sometimes especially once you get up to 6 or 7 of those on there, dexing a few extra times just to cause them to hit up to that stack of 10 and then turning around and avoiding them for 15 seconds can be the wiser move on. And finally, they have unblockable specials. So every special on every one of these champions on the path except for the boss himself and Aegon, who is the link node for the path, has unblockable specials. So keep that in mind. The best advice I could give you on this path is truly to go through and check every champion on the path and make sure you're aware of what their specials are, what the range are on them, where to be standing at so that you can get out of the way, because they with the unblockable, you just want to avoid their specials. Make sure you're baiting out either the special 1 or the special 2 depending on the champion, so that you have a better chance of getting away from them and not taking any damage when those specials come around. So on the path here, like I said, everybody has the exact same link nodes. We've got Colossus to start off here, followed by Rhino, and then Miss Marvel, White Magneto, Beast, or She-Hulk, Beast, and then finally Aegon. And then we do get to Captain America Infinity War. Like I said with Aegon, he's the only one on the path that does not have any nodes whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about him too much. He's a straightforward fight. So just bring in your best champion, or obviously if you have Aegon on your own team, possibly look at using him to build up some charges off of. Now, finally, when you get over here to the Captain America fight, you do have several nodes to worry about here. This is a little bit of a trickier boss, but as long as you're prepared, you don't have to take as long as I did to go through it. So be prepared for that. First off, he has the crit me if you can node. The only attacks that actually land are crit attacks, which is another reason why we have Corvus on the team, because obviously as long as he's got on his charges, his attacks are all crits, and then you just have to avoid for long enough for your counter to come back down, get the charges back, and continue being able to do more crits. This is a fairly decent strategy, especially if you can bait him well and avoid taking too much in between those timers. Next, he has destructive feedback. Now, this is also which is going to make it a little bit more of a twist, because every time that he has a shield up, any damage that you do to him gets stored, and if he is to connect a hit on you before that shield goes down, it will cause you to take the damage instead. Now, mind you, once that shield goes down, you can hit through just normally and continue to fight him. So the strategy is either to make sure that you're evading well during the time of the shield and making sure you take no damage until after the shield's down, or just avoiding him altogether until the shield's down and only hitting in between shield times. Now, Captain America Infinity War also has the aggressive fury from the path that we dealt with here already. So remember, again, he is going to be gaining a fury charge every 2 seconds, which is going to actually increase his attack by 50%, which makes it even more frustrating that you have to deal with that destructive feedback, where you have those time periods where you have to avoid hitting him, or else you're actually going to be, so you're trying not to let him build up those, but at the same time, you also don't want to take the chance of taking the damage upon yourself. So this can be a fight that ends up having a few revives to it. After that, he has the electric. What this does is it decreases the duration of all of your buffs by 5 seconds. And also on top of that, if you were to bring in a robot champion, they suffer a 70% ability accuracy reduction. So you want to avoid robot champions if you can for this fight. And finally, he has the Surging Vengeance, which says that he should be going through his specials in consecutive order. First special 1, second special 2, special 3, third. Doesn't always seem to work that way in my opinion. But at the same time, we do mess up and push him through his specials a few too many times. It is really frustrating on some of these fights. I will advise, especially on this particular fight and on a couple of the fights that are coming up, especially in 6.4, if you start to get frustrated or you're losing idea of what exactly the plan is, put the game down for 5 minutes, walk away, take a breath, go do something, come back and redo the fight. It'll save you on potions and revives 100%. But let's go ahead and get into the level here, guys, and see where we went right and where we went wrong, and show you that I did get through it. Okay, so right off the bat here, we went in with Corvus, obviously looking to get our first glaive charge up against Colossus here. You know, the nice thing about Colossus is that both his special 1 and special 2 are fairly avoidable. All you got to do is pretty much dash back, get a decent amount of distance, let him get through the last punch, and then just jump right back in there. Now, we do have a couple things going for us on Corvus here, you know, and that is having the Loki Heimdall synergy does give me a little bit more ability to recoup some of the damage that I take here. Plus, on top of that, it gives me that last hurrah at the end if I should screw up and actually get taken down. Now, you can see here we're getting some great combos here. And it's going pretty smoothly. we did get our charges back. We're at that special 2, and we should be able to go ahead and finish him off fairly easy here. But we did mess up and get caught and almost lost that one. But we were able to finish it off. So then we brought in Aegon for the Rhino fight here, thinking I was going to go ahead and build up my combos, get a good shield, have the combo shield going, and be able to transfer some of that into the corresponding next fights. Unfortunately, I'm not good at dealing with the unstoppables with Aegon. Not nearly enough, and Rhino caught me several times, so I ended up losing my combos every single time. Now, one of the things I would advise here, and that was recently advised to me, is the idea that instead of using Aegon, we could have possibly brought in Shang-Chi. Now, I wouldn't have had him at the time that Thronebreaker was originally released, but obviously I do have him on my team these days. Also, on top of that, any other champion that has the slow effect can help you deal with unstoppable champions. We did finally just go ahead and bring him Corvus in to finish him off. Now, we didn't even bother to heal up after the Rhino fight. Knew that I could go ahead and do some healing during the fight against Vulture here. And Vulture gives us a lot of really good openings as far as being able to give us spacing and everything else to be able to time him. He is one of those champions that, his flight patterns, if you get consistent with him, for the most part, you can avoid taking hardly any, if not avoid taking all damage from him. So, like I said, going in there with a wounded Corvus wasn't a problem. We were able to get through him just fine. We did have the class advantage here against Miss Marvel. Of course, it would have been awesome if she counted as an Avenger, because then we could have brought in Corvus again and gotten another charge, but unfortunately she does not. So we continue on here and brought in Loki because I knew I could do a few buff steals, the unblockables off the special 2, and we should be able to handle her fairly simply. Now, we go in against White Magneto. Obviously, we do have the disadvantage because White Magneto does have the metal control, just like Red Mags, but of course he isn't nearly as powerful as Red Mags, but definitely no one to take lightly. So we instead turned around and brought in Star-Lord. Might as well take our class advantage. Don't have to worry about the metal there, and we were able to get straight through him. Now again, brought in Aegon to take on She-Hulk, trying to get our combo shield up. Again, this is another great example. If you know what their specials are and you can bait out their specials properly and know where your distancing is, it's not hard, especially on somebody like She-Hulk. She does have a powerful kick, but it's a very short kick there. So it doesn't take much to dash back and avoid taking that hit, giving you a chance to really build up the combo here, as I'm doing. And we looked at finishing her off. So that was a great place that we picked up those combo shields from, or the combo counters. And then we went into the Beast fight, bringing in Star-Lord in here. Again, just going for the class advantage. I didn't need the glaive counters. And Corvus was down, so we figured, might as well go ahead and rotate through everybody. That way, if we were to do a team revive, which it would look like I was going to end up doing, I could get the most out of it. So then we brought in Loki to see if we couldn't finish him off with Loki. Did really good here, honestly. This isn't an ideal situation for Loki. There really isn't much to steal off of Beast, and so it wasn't the perfect fight, but at the same time we still were able to do quite a bit here. And as you can see here, we're more than holding our own against Beast. Not that Beast is that hard of a champion to do. Had Loki just about finish him off there, and went ahead and brought in Aegon to finish him. Now we brought in the team revive, and we're able to just go ahead and finish it off with Corvus. Not that there was a lot to do there. So I decided I'd go ahead and do Aegon versus Aegon. Like I said, I was looking at trying to get my count up a little bit more, and try and at least carry the larger combo into the final fight. Um, was doing fairly well up until I took a couple hits and lost that combo. Um, Caused me to get a little bit aggressive and walk into a few things that I knew better than to do. I went ahead, and since I'd already done so much damage, I revived. I wanted to get something to take into that final fight. So we got a few off of that. Now we're going into the um, boss fight here. And you can see right off the bat with Aegon, I got way too aggressive. I wasn't paying attention to that destructive feedback at all and let him just pretty much pummel me to death. Also, on top of that, too, this is the problem here that you can't do damage unless you're doing crits. And he's just sitting there powering up harder, more and more. So this really didn't go well for us at first. I gotta be honest with you. I think I kind of got frustrated and just ignored the nodes themselves and wasn't paying attention to my own strategy of what I needed to do. Again, like I said, we could have switched in somebody with some more crit chance, or somebody to even boost our, Corvus's crits here, which would have been ideal. Obviously, the great thing about Corvus, outside of just the fact of how great of a champion he is, all in all, is the fact that while he's got those counters active, you're looking at 20 to 30 guaranteed crits every time you connect. And in a fight like this where it has to be critical damage to even do it, that can be a major difference. You can see here, even when I was bringing in Aegon here, the amount of hits I'm getting on him compared to the amount of damage I'm actually doing, considering how few of them actually even do damage whatsoever. You're seeing probably a good 5 to 6 hits that are literally doing 0 damage here. Now, obviously, the bigger my combo gets with Aegon, the more damage I can do per hit. And the thing about it is I continuously brought in Corvus and Aegon to this fight. I never thought about it until towards the very end, about the fact that I still had Star-Lord as an option as well, which would have given me a third member to be rotating in there. Because no, Star-Lord isn't as big on being able to connect on the crits, but he's no worse as far as crit chance than Aegon is. And again, he is the original champion that I started learning how to stream combos better with, because of the fact that, he was that champion long before Aegon ever existed, that the higher your combo was, especially if you had him at a high sig level, the higher your combo was, the better and harder he hit. So we knew that was going to be a chance there. Now, obviously, there you saw we took Corvus back in and took a pretty good chunk off of him. So, again, revive the two of them, continue on, see if I can't get another chunk off with Aegon. Honestly, I should have probably just stuck straight to Corvus, because even Aegon in a lot of these fights is not doing hardly anything. So I kind of feel like I wasted quite a bit on this one. And I think, it may have been better just to continuously revive Corvus if I was going to be reviving anyways. At least his damage is more consistent. It may not hit for as high as Aegon's max potential, but considering how many hits I'm having to get in and how much power I'm allowing him to gain, Corvus would have probably saved me a lot more revives doing just him than doing the rotation there. As you can see, again, we've got him almost down. Went ahead and brought Aegon in again we do have 77 hits on our meter. You know, we don't have the full 100, but so we're still hitting substantially. And like I said, finally, I just said, you know, why waste another revive? Let's go ahead and see if we can't do it with Star-Lord. And, you know, like I said, I knew crit rating wasn't going to be the biggest thing, but he still got us through there and got that last little bit off. We were able to get a decent combo going, and that's all it really took. So you can see here we got some fairly good prizes, rewards out of this. You know, we got some 5-star shards, some 6-star shards, some rank up gems, and then of course the classic offer. I, of course, didn't even bother to go for it, but you do know that that is there at the end of each chapter, that you have a chance of that. So keep that in mind. But we were able to do it, guys, and that is 6.3.6. And we will be continuing on to 6.4.1 soon. We've got some pretty big things coming out tomorrow, so that probably won't be out until this Saturday, but I do look forward to talking to everybody then. Also, on top of that, we'll be doing the live stream on Sunday. Got some things I want to cover this Sunday, and I will see everybody back for the next one. Peace out.